The 800 meters in Tokyo 2025 will go down as one of the greatest 800 meters in championship history. Coming into the championships, you had so many different storylines. You had the American storyline, which you had the likes of Cooper Lutkenhaus, the 16-year-old running 142 low at US Nationals. You have Bryce Hoppel making his 7th international team. Then you have Donovan Brazier, the 2019 world champion in the 800 meter and current champion record holder, coming back from injury, coming back from disappointment, crawling and scratching his way to become the 2025 US national champion running 142 low. Him coming back to the championship meant there's going to be a huge showdown between him, the 2019 champion, 2023 champion Marco Arap, and the 2024 champion, Olympic champion Emmanuel Wanyanye. And you have other storylines like over 30 athletes running sub 144 in the 800 meters going into world championships, guys that has never been seen before in history, and it did not disappoint. Skipping right to the semifinals, in Heat 1 we had Marco Arap winning his heat and Sajadi coming second. Marco controlled that race from gun to tape. He's very similar to Rudisha in the way where he likes to lead. Marco also is okay with being in the back. In the semifinals, he decided to take the lead, and he, like Rudisha, has a sixth sense for who's coming up behind him. When he controls a race, he's the best mid-racer in the world right now, in my opinion. He is super hard to pass. When he wants to go in the middle of the race, there is no one in the world that can keep up to him for the next 100, 200 meters if he chooses so. And guys, Marco always finds a way to qualify for these championships, to qualify for these finals, spending the least amount of effort possible. He ran 145 low just to make the finals, and Sajadi ran a similar time, and guys, that's a very slow time to make the finals, yet Marco finds his way to spend the least amount of energy, and Sajadi was a direct beneficiary of that as well. In Heat 2, you had the comeback story of Donovan Brazier, who was expected to make the finals. The race went out pretty hot, with Brazier in second place 200 meters in, but because he didn't battle for a spot, he tucked his way in 200 meters in and allowed a crowd to kind of overcome him. And Brazier's really famous for doing this. He likes to run 800 meters exactly. You saw this at the 2025 US Nationals, where he was running in lane 1 most of the time. In the last 100 meters, when everyone was tired, he's able to navigate his way out and sprint to the finish. In this race, it didn't play out like that. There was a bunch of fast guys with him. He found himself trapped in the middle of the pack, and things were not opening up with 100 meters to go. You could tell with 100 meters to go, he was trying to find his route, and he couldn't find it until about 80 meters, and then he started going. He started catching first and second for those 2 automatic qualifiers, but he couldn't get there. He finished 3rd. I think this was a tactical mistake from 200 meters in. I feel like he had another 1 or 2 opportunities to move his way out, but sometimes, guys, like, you just can't control what happens in the 800 meters, and he suffered the consequences of that in the last 100. Brazier ran 143.82, out-dipping the Italian for 3rd place, running 143.84. So both of these guys were on the hot seat going into Heat 3 of the semifinals. And boy, Heat 3 was a shocker. Emmanuel Wanyanye took the pace out hot again, as he usually does. He went out in 50-51 point, which is regular for Emmanuel. Emmanuel likes to keep most of these races honest because that's where he stays out of the most trouble. He's so much better than most of his competition, where he's able to stay out of this trouble and kind of cruise his way to the finish. Emmanuel Wanyanye finished 2nd in his heat, but he didn't battle for 1st. Atui of Spain came 1st, and it was top 2 that make it. But the race was so much closer than most people thought it was going to be, with Nowitzki running 143.7 to come 3rd, and Masalila of Botswana coming 4th with 143.80. And guys, both Brazier and the Italian did not make the finals by 200 and 400ths of a second respectively. This was an absolute shocker. I was there live. I could see such a disappointment on Donovan Brazier's face and the excitement in the Jamaican's Nowitzki's face, as well as Masalala. And guys, going back to Heat 2 just for a moment, you had breakout races from Max Bergen and Kian McPhillips. Kian McPhillips set a national record in the heats running 143.1, and Bergen running 143 point as well too. Both of them looked amazing. And guys, it's times like this where I've always said you will have 2 to 3 athletes having breakout championships to make the finals, and it's going to be it will knock out a couple of the favorites, and that's exactly what we saw. As much as I'm shocked at the performance of Kian McPhillips, I'm sure his whole training camp was not. He was ready to go, and it came at the expense of Donovan Brazier and even Bryce Hoppel, who in Heat 3 came 5th, running 143.92. Donovan Brazier actually set a record, running the fastest time never to make the World Championship final. That includes the Olympics. 800 meter has really went through a renaissance this year, following the steps of the 1500 and 5K these past 5 years, and I'm so happy to see it happen. And the finals was just as exciting as the heats. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It was way more exciting than the heats. The finals went out so quick, with Wanyanye going through in 49.2. Between 100 meters and 200 meters in the race, Wanyanye was in 1st, and he started taking his foot off the accelerator accelerator just a little bit. He wasn't slowing down a lot, but Marco Arop of Canada, my countryman, came to his side with every ambition to pass him, and Wanyanye said no, and made Marco stay wide and tuck in behind him. This led to such a fast first 400 to 600 meters, but even 600 meters in, the pack was like an accordion. It wasn't as strung out as it usually would be, with Nowitzki of Jamaica making a super powerful move between 200 and 100 meters to go on that corner. But with 100 meters to go, Marco Arop started passing Wanyanye of Kenya, and Sajadi coming from way back in the outside of lane 2, passing Marco at the line. He couldn't quite get Wanyanye, and all three of them were within, I think, 200ths of a second of each other for first, second, and third. I think it was 141.7, 141.7, 141.8, if my memory serves me correct, or 141.8 to 141.9. I can't quite remember, but it was insane. It was a battle from start to finish, and this is actually now the world's fastest 800-meter race ever. In the 2012 famous Olympic final where David Rudisha set his world record, that's still the world record to this day, the average time ran in that race was 142.53. In 2025 in Tokyo, the average time run was 142.24, a full quarter of a second and a bit faster than the 2012 Olympic final. This is now the fastest race of all time. And to further highlight how impressive this was, Masalala of Botswana came dead last in the race, and he ran 142.77. In 2023, that would have been the fastest time of the world. So think of it this way, if you ran the fastest time in the world in 2023, in the 2025 finals, you would have got 8th out of 8. Insane stuff. Furthermore, 142.77 over the last 50 years of track and field would have had you the fastest time in 41 of those years. And again, in this race, it got you 8th. In my opinion, this passed 2012 as the greatest 800-meter race of all time, and is my new #1 spot in World Championship race history. For those of you who haven't seen my World Championship ratings, my video is right here, where I rank all the World Championship 800-meter races in history. My new #1 is the Tokyo 2025 Championship, because guys, it was just, it had everything. It had tactics, it had fast race, it had people passing each other, it had people dying at the end, and it had a lean finish. But let me know down in the comments down below, do you think this race is as great as I think it is? Is there a better race than this? Please let me know. And also, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed what you saw here, and I'll see you guys next time.